local.
Welcome back to East Texas Now. Join with us here for a first time on the East Texas Now desk with a story he actually brought you guys on GMET. There's been a significant update here. Marshall, we're talking all things Texas Lottery.
Right.
All right.
And so earlier this morning, like I said, on GMET, the Texas Lottery Commission was looking to ban, or not ban, they were under heavy scrutiny because of online couriers to buy tickets. For those that don't know what those are, it's essentially when someone goes through a third-party app or website to buy tickets online instead of in person, which some people were concerned about age validity and address validity, because you have to be at least 18 to get a lottery ticket.
Right. Now, you're saying when we were talking about it in GMET, you had said that the TLC claims that they can't regulate the couriers in Texas.
Right.
Now, this has a little bit of an update, right?
Right, yeah. And so that update now is that they have sent out a press release this morning saying that they actually just banned it across the state. They just made a policy change saying we're not doing it anymore, which for the past 10 years, since 2015, they've been saying we don't actually have the regulatory ability to do that. And so this is a big pivot just a week after the Senate kind of grilled them at a hearing, essentially saying, what's the deal?
Yeah. I mean, the Senate Committee on State Affairs is supposed to hold a meeting at 2 p.m. today to discuss these thoughts. And now this has happened way before anybody expected. And so this is incredibly changing for people here in East Texas as they're trying to get their Texas lottos, right?
Right. Yeah. And so, I mean, there's a lot of moving pieces with this. I mean, Texas Lottery Commission is under a lot of scrutiny right now. They just had someone resign on Friday after all of this stuff that happened. They had their executive director, former executive director, resign last year. So there's a lot of staff changes. There's a lot of legislation changes, a lot of policy changes.
There's also a lawsuit, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so that lawsuit is on the former executive director about some of these allegations of like money laundering and stuff like that. And so there's a lot of moving pieces with this. And I mean, I don't purchase lottery tickets, right? But like this, I learned so much about it this morning.
Yeah.
It's crazy. There's so many moving pieces.
Now, proponents of the ban talk about age and address verification issues when it comes to allowing tickets to be bought not in person where you like switch immediately, right? So then what are people that are against the ban talking about?
Well, I guess the people that are against the ban would say that it brings in a lot of money. It is a big portion of online sale or just sales in general of lottery tickets. I mean, it's a lot more convenient. You don't have to leave your house. You can just do it from home. But again, I mean, there are those issues of, well, are you really 18? Do we know if you're really 18 or not? Do we know if you live in the state of Texas or not?
Right.
And while, you know, the TLC can claim, well, they do, you know, how do we confirm that when it's through a third party?
Very true. It's interesting now that the ban is in effect, how that's going to change conversations made on things like the Senate Committee on State Affairs, where they're talking about having to enact change to place a ban or get rid of it. And now that the ban's in place, they're having to enact change, which normally, you know, like say in a court of law, you have to know beyond a reasonable doubt to inflict any kind of action. And so if there's no action, I feel like that's a huge decision to enact the ban ahead of this conversation, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's strange because, I mean, the Texas Lottery Committee, that their whole job is to regulate the lottery. That's their whole thing. And so they do have the authority to just kind of make these policy changes on a whim when they want to. And they went ahead and did it, which, again, it's just so interesting based off of the past 10 years of how they've been saying, we can't really regulate that because it's through a third party.
Yeah. All right there, Marshall Farmer there with our update there. That ban has now been put into effect. Now, obviously, I think the state or the Senate Committee on State Affairs are going to continue to have conversations, but it does change those conversations from are we going to take action to place a ban or are we going to, you know, a no action would have instilled the legality still of that. Now they're having to take action to remove the ban, and the conversation completely switches sides of power, right?
Yeah, and also as well, I mean, with tomorrow too, they're having a whole meeting tomorrow as well about just like this committee itself and if it's even really necessary. So I mean, it's all over the place right now.
It is any man's game, any guess as to
Yeah.
what's going to come out of that. So we will keep a close eye here on East Texas Now regarding that Senate Committee on State Affairs when it comes to the Texas Lottery Commission. Marshall, thanks for bringing us this update.
Yeah, of course.
Alrighty, well, we will hear more about this story in midday, I'm sure.
Yes.
All right, sounds good. From there, guys, we are going to go ahead and